see. Talking truth, talking change, talking all that's real. With Francis Pierre at the wheel. Politics to faith, the latest trend. We talk it out from end to end. When the clock hits 12, you know where to be. Turn it up.
Welcome brothers, welcome sisters, welcome to our program On Target. Always remember, we never have a subject matter. We speak about anything, regional, international, issues trending, and you can introduce your own topic, interrupt us at any time, no preamble. You just punch. We encourage people to be tolerant and respectful. That's all. We fear no subject matter. We express our opinion. Opinions are not facts. They are based upon the information you had at the time and your own prejudice. If we say something and we get new information, we change in our opinion. It's not cast in stone. The number to call is 442-0175. But we will also endeavor to read your comments on the social media. We on Real FM 91.9, 91.5. We on We Noise FM 94.9, Brooklyn, New York. And we encourage you, subscribe, give us a blind, help local content to grow. Even if you don't like us now, you might like us in the next 2 years. Help us to grow. While I await your comments and I await your participation and I await your call, we must speak about Caribbean leaders, CARICOM leaders. One of the objectives of CARICOM is one single market and economy. One single market and economy. So our CARICOM leaders must reflect the dreams and aspirations of our people, the economic realities, the socioeconomic situation, and also they have to learn to demolate in the geopolitics. It means that CARICOM leaders ought to be top negotiators. I believe in this present situation now, CARICOM leaders have failed us. I was very disappointed. If you listen to my program from the time Donald Trump come in power for the second time, I've been begging CARICOM leaders to set up a team and negotiate with Donald Trump. To accept CARICOM nationals from any country in any country to negotiate with Donald Trump, to negotiate with the conflict with Maduro and Donald Trump. Because all of you have a natural inclination to like Maduro. Maduro is a bully, but Caribbean leaders like him. So negotiate. I beg you to discuss with Maduro accepting the International Court decision on the boundaries, maritime boundary and land boundary between Guyana and Venezuela. To discuss settling the Trinidad boundaries, border island, and encourage Trump to back out while you establish a special committee to deal with narco-terrorists. You did nothing. You sit down on your blessed assurance playing you as communists. Are disappointed. From Ralph Gonzalez, Mia Motley, are disappointed you all. I suggest you should even use the Prime Minister Belize, the Bahamas, and Jamaica. You did nothing. You beating your chest and playing you as communists. Communism done good. It caused people to go in jail. They have no respect for the law. They corrupt the judiciary. They close down the press and they jail people. What good do you have in communism? Leaders have to understand. When you're leading a country, you are not pushing your own agenda. You are reflecting the country's agenda. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Hey, Mr. Pierre, how you doing?
Great, man.
Mr. Pierre, this morning I listened to the interview with Chester Humphrey and College Church. Oh, my God. Chester Humphrey said lots of things. Oh, by thank God that we have education would have common sense. He let out lots of things within the Cuban system and what's going on in Venezuela under Chavez, come back under this government. What was there? You heard what he said? That the Cubans' doctors just go in areas with people who never see doctors. So that shows Venezuela knows to have the most all deposit. Such a rich country. Roads in a country is a blessing to vulnerable people. It's a blessing to the development of the country. And you could tell me you have places in Venezuela with all the deposit of all the richness. Yet still, you have communities who are doing my roads. So then how the Cubans doctors get there? They took a donkey to get there, and that is the abuse with the Cubans doctor too. Again, this guy what the U.S. removed there from Venezuela, it seems like he didn't trust his own people. Because if the Americans could kill how many bodyguards of his from Cuba, that shows he didn't trust his own people. So, Mr. Pierre, you have to listen to when them guys talk here. They could give lots of information what is happening there and not knowing that they're getting themselves, they're digging a hole when they're talking. Because he talk about the abuse with the Cuban doctors in Venezuela, and then he expose the Venezuelan government. They're not taking care of the infrastructure in the country. And they're supposed to be a rich country because he said the Cuban doctors visiting community in Venezuela, which some people never see a doctor. So how they get there? On jackass? Excuse me, man. I'm sorry. Hold it down, man. Peace. One love.
Yes, my brother. We have to have more discussion on these issues. Anytime them communists speak, they don't want to speak, They have to hide. They lying. And people have to provoke them to speak. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Mr. Pierre?
Yes, scholar.
Good afternoon, sir.
Yes.
Happy New Year to you.
Always good to hear your voice.
Mr. Pierre, if Grenada was like Venezuela, I don't see where nobody have to sitting and waiting on no government. Because check it out. How many riches in Venezuela? What is the reason man have to go sell cocaine, man have to go out and do them things on them? And when you sell your oil, you develop your country? What is the reason? I don't understand. Venezuela is a rich country, and this thing and them are listening and hearing. I listening YouTube and hearing what going on in different Caribbean country and what going on in America, and I just don't like, trust me, I don't like where America people go and pick up the man and bring him there. Because I asking the question, what is the reason? You have to ask the reason why. Nobody can go in America and pick up nobody and do what they want in America. So why the thing is now they go pick up the man and telling him he go in and try. I see when they drop the man on the ground, when they come out in the jail with him and go in with him and go and try him. I watch all this thing on them. And try him for what? I want to hear try him for what? I want to know what he do. Try him for what? What he do? Question and answer, Mr. Pierre. And Venezuela have enough things for people to get work, the country to develop. The people are supposed to sit down on nobody. The country is supposed to be bigger than all other countries when they have all what they have. So I want you to debate about that day for me, please. Have a blessed day.
Yes, scholar. Some of the things we have to be very careful when we watch some things on television because not all of them are true. Some of them are fake. So we have to be careful. But Venezuela, for a rich country like Venezuela, Venezuela have not done justice to the people. Communism done good. And all the countries that involved with communism, they fail. All of them fail. China have something you call state-sponsored capitalists. Russia have a form of capitalist, and they have the oligarchs. They have some very rich people in the private sector, and some poor. Now, Venezuela had over 38,000. That again is questionable, because that is, you will say that information comes from the opposition forces in Venezuela, that over 38,000 people were victims of torture. Over 18,000 political detainees. Nearly 500 protesters killed. 8 million people leave Venezuela in exile. Trinidad had about over 47,000. They closed down over 400 media houses and censored them. 90% of the people in poverty. The government of the United States of America has accused the president of Venezuela for being involved in narco-terrorists. As a narco-terrorist, they say that he exporting drugs to the American market. And that's a challenge that we have. CARICOM governments have always been hearing that. They stay silent. They have not been challenging anything negative the Americans see. They have not been asking Maduro what they're saying is true. They have not been expressing solidarity with the thousands of political detainees in Venezuela. I don't agree with CARICOM leaders. We have thousands of political detainees in Cuba. Every time you speak about Cuba, they're telling you what assistance Grenada get. Well, at what expense? So these people are jailing their people to help you with medical facilities. Grenada owe Venezuela about 300 million for oil. You have to pay the debt. They trust you. So our leaders in Grenada, Barbados, and the other countries saying Venezuela could kill the people, we don't care. Once we benefiting from them. I'm not against Donald Trump for going and seize Maduro. I don't know if he has the legal authority to do it, but I'm not against him. These communists, they violate every law. And what they're doing now is to use the United States law against them. CARICOM leaders must develop the habit of negotiating, of seeking the interests of their own people. We must not support countries to flaunt the law and jail people. We in Grenada should lead in the Caribbean where that is concerned, because we have had a personal experience between 1979 and 1983. Maurice Bishop was a criminal. Yes, caller, welcome. We get that caller? Or we lost him? Caller, you there?
Pierre.
Come in.
Mr. Pierre,
Yes, my brother.
you is a man I listen to all the time. But I think you is the wrong spokesman, Mr. Pierre. You're not doing justice to this country of Grenada. You must be mindful of the good things that these countries do for Grenada. And when you talk like this, you don't do any good to the country of Grenada or the island of Grenada. You must be more mindful of what you're saying. Be careful of the things that you say out there. Think about it before you say it. It is not nice. You're doing Grenada injustice right now. There is a lot of people who for, who against, but you must be balanced. Thank you.
What did caller before you go? Or next, okay, caller, you must tell me what do I say that is not the truth. I'm not on radio to make people comfortable. I come to bring the truth. And I have a piece of manje kosher rope to tie the truth on those who don't want the truth. Our CARICOM leaders was aware that there were political detainees in Venezuela, that people were murdered while protesting, and there was no inquiry, no justice, that 8 million people flee Venezuela. Caribbean leaders never object. 47,000 Venezuelans, over 47,000, was in Trinidad, running for rescue. Millions on the doors of the US, United States of America. Grenada and other Caribbean countries, they must take about a dozen. I don't believe we have more than a dozen Venezuelan here, because Grenadians don't like to take foreigners. Over the last 4 or 5 years, Grenada expelled over 240 immigrants from Grenada. Our leaders in the Caribbean failed us. Not because Cuba helped us in the medical field and education, and Venezuela helped us with oil and housing, we're supposed to turn a blind eye to the cruelty of these governments to their own people. Maduro is a bully. You want to claim 1/3 of Guyana. He would not settle issues with Trinidad. Quite in Dominica, he want to claim Border Island. And he has not settled the boundary delimitation, or how you call it, with Grenada. Maduro is a bully. Donald Trump is a bully too. So Maduro meet a bigger bully. I have no tears for Maduro. I'm in solidarity with the Cubans that are detained at in prison. And when our communist leaders speaking, we must ask them to give us 3 benefits that communism or left-wing policies or progressive socialist policies or hardline Islam have for Grenada. We must ask questions. I said before, we, unlike most of the Caribbean, live through an experience when Maurice Bishop was experimenting with Marxist-Leninism in Grenada between 1979 and 1983. I said 5% of Grenadians took jail during that period of time. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, the Mr. with co-holiday and telling you about you not on a fair deal. What this guy say, telling you that once Grenada could get, forget the citizens of this country, you know. That's why I'm telling you, you know. We shouldn't be concerned of the citizens of this country once Grenada could get. That's what he's saying. Where this guy came from, Mr. Pierre? He's just the Prime Minister. Anyway, hold it down, man.
Yeah. So our leaders in the Caribbean is a kind of left-wing leaders. And they're not speaking the truth. They're giving the impression that only Cuba and Venezuela that helping them. The United States of America has helped Grenada significantly. England helped them. Not enough. I believe our foreign ministers in the Caribbean has been a joke. They have not been good enough. We could benefit much more from countries if our foreign minister is good. But it doesn't mean that we have to condone cruelty and barbarity to the natives just because we're getting help. Venezuela have no reason to be begging Cuba for doctors. That's a joke of it. Venezuela have to train the people in the medical field. Venezuela and Colombia have some of the best hospitals in the Caribbean. Well, let me put it that way. They have better hospitals than all other countries in the Caribbean. There are some operations that you go to Venezuela and Colombia for. No other Caribbean island offer that facilities. Not even Cuba. So when we're speaking, yes, caller, welcome. Yes, caller, you there? Punch. That caller gone. So we need honesty. And our leaders in the Caribbean have not been very honest with us. They're hiding information. There is no need to hide information. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, the question I ask you, what Maduro go, what it take him and bring him in America and say they going and try
I thought I answer you. You right? Well, let me tell you again.
But what he do?
Well, let me tell you. United States accused Maduro of being involved in the drug trade that bring drugs in America. You ask what he did. Let me tell you.
Know what's going on? I don't believe that man go send out people out there with drugs and
All
he
right.
have what more than drugs to build his country. I find that song funny. Trust me.
All right. So you have to. So maybe you have to listen to me more on that.
I have to listen because I want to understand
Yeah.
what's really going on.
Yeah.
All right.
Okay. So United States, I think in one of these states in New York, Maduro is being charged. They had some investigation and they charged Maduro for exporting drugs. United States sometimes have a gunboat policy that a lot of people don't agree with. Not the United States alone. Russia too, China, Iran, all the imperial powers. All the imperial powers in the world, sometimes they are powerful and sometimes they implement gunboat policy. Yes, caller, welcome.
Yes, good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yeah, go right ahead.
Good. I am really not for or against America or Venezuela, right? Because Maduro has his weaknesses. He has done a lot of things contrary to the wishes of the people of Venezuela. However, a caller just asked you a while ago, what was the rationale for the U.S. invading Venezuela and kidnapping the Prime Minister? I don't think the answer was really to the one point. Let us look at the hypocrisy of the U.S. foreign policy. Yeah? We speak of the dictators, Cuba, Venezuela. Why aren't we talking about Saudi Arabia and those countries, which are what we call right-wing dictatorship? Are there any elections there? Aren't the people being suppressed when they speak up? Why is it America is not putting pressure on those countries? They are America's closest friends. So there's a high level of hypocrisy that we must take into consideration. Again, you said that Maduro's involved in the drug trade. Only recently, United States President Trump issued a pardon to the president of Honduras, who was jailed for 45 years in the United States for drugs. So if President Trump is so concerned about the drug trade, why free the biggest drug man exporting the most drugs into the United States? Yeah? You set him free, but yet you want to jail Maduro for the same drug. Too much hypocrisy. The fundamental point is that the U.S. is interested in the resources of Venezuela. Yeah? And it doesn't matter to Trump whether he's a right-wing or left-wing dictator, he will. That's not the issue. Because if the leaders of Saudi Arabia, United Arab Emirates, they produce oil as well, and they're Trump, America's closest friends. So, there's a level of hypocrisy that we must reveal, and don't look at it, on one side. I'm not sympathetic to Maduro because of him being captured, but it is not right. We cannot condone no country. We are reimposing that old Monroe Doctrine and new colonialism, where any superpower could go into any country. Once you disagree with my policy and say, hey, I take over, that must be condemned. But you're not condemning that. And I think there must be some fairness in what you're saying, because you're really there to educate the people. I admire your program, but there are times I find you're really not being balanced. And if that is your view, that is your view. But I believe we must be fair. That what happened in Venezuela, we cannot say it is because of drugs, because Honduras president, the president of Honduras, 45 years jailed in the United States. Yet, the president of the United States grant him a pardon. And why don't you condemn that level of hypocrisy? I'll stop at that because I want to talk to you about some other issue, but I'll stop at this one for the time being. Thank you very much.
The caller asked, what was the rationale for the arrest of Maduro? So I was basically saying, what is the rationale the American present for the arrest of Maduro? Maduro is no Tina, and Maduro is a bully. And I have chastised CARICOM government for not negotiating between Donald Trump and Maduro, because Maduro is a friend of theirs. So negotiate, because the Americans send on a murder in the Caribbean. And you must know that this thing reach a stage that if nobody negotiating between these two, the weaker bully going to end up in trouble. I don't know if legally America have the right from Congress to do it, because that is what happening now. People use the American law to fry them. But Russia gone in Ukraine, and I hear Russia defending in the United Nations. So these imperial powers always use gunboat diplomacy. But when you're small and you know they're powerful, it might be unfair, but it puts the onus is on you to defend yourself. And Maduro had an opportunity, together with the Caribbean islands, to refute publicly the American accusation. He did not do it, and no CARICOM leader did it. We have a call on the line? Yes, caller Punch.
This is what you call systemic avoidance of reality and diversion, and callings and infliction, and people trying to get away from reality. Now, the gentleman, I don't really refer to when they call, because when a person make the call, it means that they have the facts, they're well-researched, and they're well-studied. Now, if you think about Libya, you think about since from the time of Adolf Hitler, and you look at all the historical evidence that point out to many things, even the Israelis and so on, what you will find is that you will have folks who are very palatable, and they will only go based upon the information that's spread by media, so in many cases falsely. You have to do research, and hence the reason why I always tell people, research, do your research, and look through facts over the years. It cannot be something like only last week or last year or 2 years ago. And this is the reason why I will always support our Prime Minister Deacon Mitchell, because of his approach towards governance in Grenada. Because his approach is, instead of the old model that we saw for the past 20-something years, he decided to come and bring a new initiative, the creative arts. He started doing things differently in terms of what we saw before from the old regime, the old kind of a style. So he's doing something different. And this is what I admire, and this is what I think Grenada need at this present juncture. And I will I will say to my people out there, the folks in the diaspora, as well as people right here in Grenada, they will keep on supporting Deacon Mitchell. You know why? Because he has vision. He saw what been done before, and he decided to take a different route to advance Grenada Caribbean. For example, look at what Abraham Traore done. Now, if you know the history of Santana,
You tie me up now. You know. You go make
hold
me.
on.
You go hold on,
Hold
caller.
on.
You go make me do like a jab, you know. One laugh and stop. Ha, ha. Go ahead.
No, well, again,
Go ahead.
You always claim that you're in the rum shop. I don't have to go to a rum shop to express myself.
Caller, go ahead. You jump
So what I'm
you
saying
tie
is
me up like a
that's
crab. Caller, you tie up the point like a crab. You go from Adolf Hitler to Libya, and then you come back to Deacon, and then you hit Traore.
hold on. I'm making
Come
my
on.
point. I'm making my point to say that the systematic system always been in a particular way and look at things, and they use the media to bring their point. So they well and orchestrated a well cultured brainwash over the years. And look at what Deacon Mitchell doing. That's why he linking with Africa. Because right now, the new sensation in the world now in terms of internet and innovation is Africa. And once you can link to Africa, and you get, that's why we get he's organizing the nurses and doctors and so on to come from Africa so they could help out with the health system in Grenada. No, we had a past administration that never done anything for the health system in Grenada.
Caller, thank you.
Okay.
Caller, this is like some intellectual papers. When I finish with it, I'm more tie up like twine. You take the point. What was the practical, what was the reason, the rationale given for the arrest of Maduro? When you say the rationale, is it what the United States say? We don't know exactly if what the United States say is absolutely true or not. But if Maduro has not defended it publicly, none of the CARICOM countries has defended, and all of them saying, well, Maduro do something, but the United States don't have the legal authority. So I thought you come to spread some light on that. Yes, caller, welcome. Sorry. So I don't know if the accusation... Yes, caller, welcome.
Good afternoon, Mr. Pierre.
Yes, my brother.
Mr. Pierre, it is good governance when you have a prime minister saying that the only reason why the other side get in because the real NDC don't know who is the NDC. They don't know who is the NMP.
That divisiveness, divide the country.
What Prime Minister is saying is only NDC that should get work. It is good governance. When you have a prime minister lying to the Grenada people and CARICOM people, but it is good governance. When you have a prime minister on behind the headline, when the host asks him what was mentioned, discussed with the American concerning the base, with the commissioner of police and the advisor, right? And what prime minister said to the host that he asking the question to the wrong person. You are the minister of security, right? So how could you be the minister of security and you don't know what was discussed and what was discussed? When you have again the minister of finance going on with the Bob report and saying to Mr. Bob, those who say the cost of living gone up, let them bring the evidence to prove that the cost of living go up. Mr. Pierre, since 2020 after the election, the cost of living is up and up and up going. So I don't know if the Minister of Finance and them living in the sky, if it doesn't go in the supermarket or where they go and shop. We the people go to CARICOM Petit Market, we go in we visit shop regular. We know when we go in the shop with a $2 or $3 or $400, what we need to get. Now we're getting less. So we know the cost of living go up, electricity go up, water bill go up, food bill go up, the major things gone up. So we know, even from the Minister of Finance office, the statistics say that things gone up. So when he come on a program, a paper and saying the people who say the cost of living go up, let them bring the evidence.
Well,
Mr.
what
Finance,
you
the
see?
evidence is clear, is right in front of
Yeah,
you. You know that.
yeah.
So they just try to mislead the greater people and Peter Martin and say that the cost of living go down. Let's say
Yes.
have a
Yeah, well, after the government come, you have a call on the line. Caller, welcome. We lost the caller? Yeah, caller, please call back. No, after the, yes, caller, welcome.
Hello,
Yeah, welcome.
Mr. Pierre.
Yeah.
Good afternoon. What I quote Mr. Boson to a great extent. But what is good for the goose must good for the gander. Mr. Trump have no authority to take a man from this country and bring him in the next country and try them. No authority. No law give him.
You remember they did that with Noriga?
He did with 1 million person is still wrong.
Is it against the American laws?
It's against the American law.
All right, okay.
Right? And it should not be done.
Okay.
So what is good for the goose must good for the gander.
Okay.
And a lot of these American leaders do that. They want to have to teach you how to do things in their back door. And when it comes to the next man country, they want to walk in. Up to now, Grenada have not given any right. We understand some other countries give to put up the thing on the airport. But we know that whatever America want to do, they do.
Grenada is an independent country. They could tell America, go to hell.
They should.
Yeah.
But we don't see that happening.
And America is an independent country. They could tell Grenada, we'll see you in hell.
Yeah, but America using the mighty strong hand.
Go about diplomacy, so you negotiate.
Not only diplomacy. The America goes into, not the first country they go into and doing those things. And the wrong is wrong.
Okay.
It doesn't matter who do it.
All right.
Wrong is wrong. That's why I see it.
Okay.
Right?
Yes.
No man have the right to walk into a next man country. What we are talking about in Grenada.
But remember the American come in Grenada?
Well, yes, but they was asked to come in by the head of state.
Okay.
America did not invade Grenada. And that's, I think people saying that is not true. They was asked Eugenia Charles on behalf of the islands and the Governor General, which was Mr.
Paul Schoon.
Paul Schoon at the time, gave them permission to come in.
All right.
Thank you.
Thank you. They say a lot of people believe Paul Schoon signed the letter when they rescue Paul Schoon, you know. But when the Americans invaded Grenada, the United Nations, most of the countries condemn it. They say it was not legal. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre, good afternoon.
Yeah, my brother.
Yes. KJ, what I'd like for you to do, please, stop your word salad. When you speak, stick to a point so that we could understand what you're saying or what you're asking, because everything seems to be cooked up. The next thing about it is that one have to understand what is happening in the world. There is a plot between countries like China, Russia, Iran to destroy our region of the world, to take control of it. And that is one of the key things. They've been using Venezuela. Venezuela is the grounds where they've been using to set up. Hamas and all is involved in the drug trade and everything. And when people talking about the United States haven't got it right, what are they talking about? Concerned about the Venezuelan people? Look the condition the Venezuelan people are living in. In that last election that took place in Venezuela, after the Maduro stole the election and people started demonstrating, they even drive armored car over human beings.
400 of them dead.
Right? And imagine that. When some of the women that they arrested, the women had to prostitute themselves for them to get a meal in prison. You see, while we sit back condemning, I am getting angry because I know that if the United States didn't come in Grenada, Mr. P, a lot of us today would not have been alive today.
Yeah, right? Or are they in jail?
Yeah, Grenada would have been destroyed.
I want God the American come.
So, you see, a lot of us, when we sit down and we belly full, we don't care about anybody else. All we care about is ourselves. Right? A lot of Grenadians, they are no different to the North Korean leader. When we look at North Korea, There is only one man that is fat in North Korea, you know, and that is the leader. Importing expensive wine, right? The most expensive wine and cheese and all these things, because they consider themselves to be superior to the rest of humanity. But we have to understand that God created all men equal. And I am in total support of the United States. And in order for this region to remain a zone of peace, the United States have to be controlling things. We shouldn't allow Iran, Hezbollah, China, and Russia to come and take control of our region. Have a good day, sir.
Yes, well, one of the factors Venezuela has a lot of oil, sitting on perhaps the biggest reserve of oil in the world. And all the imperial power want the oil. Russia want to control Venezuela. China want to control Venezuela. And the United States don't want them to control. Now, if Venezuela have elected government and the government's election is free and fair, is something else. But it is widely claimed. Yes, scholar, welcome.
Yes, good afternoon to you, Doc.
Yes.
How is it today?
Great, man.
Oh, have a great day.
And interesting.
Nice program. I'll tell you something. Let me take a memory back, because you have a little history here as you unpack it. The European Union, or the EU, combine America, because America is the EU and EU is America. Because they all come from the EU to come to America.
Me too.
So that's what the problem. That's what the problem is. So they are in control. They seize control from the Africans, and they're going to hold control. There is nothing we can do to get them in a different position, because they have all of the mechanism to keep us under the feet. So we just have to, find a way to survive. In other words, you're in the jungle, and you have to barb and weave your way. It's like a bottleneck.
You have to demolay.
You have to demolay. You have to go around that bottleneck, because you can't go through the bottleneck. So we have to find our way. But let me take you back. Remember, the North Koreans were under the same threat as Venezuela. Yeah? They sat quietly, very quietly. They say very little. And boom, we have the bomb. And that problem stopped one time. India, the same thing. Harassment. They want to overthrow India. Bomb India, stay there quietly. Boom, they have the bomb. We say, we have the bomb, all that problem go away. Pakistan, the same thing. They wanted to overthrow Pakistan. A lot of problem there. Pakistan lay quiet. They hush them out, and they develop that bomb, because they have the power and the resources to do that. Boom, they have the bomb, all that problem gone. So you're not hearing these countries in the mix again, because they're powerful too. Venezuela have all of the oil, all of the wealth they can make. But you know something? They talk too much and they're too inactive. Venezuela is not a third world country. You have to be a fourth world country based on the resources. But they stay there with a lame brain, doing nothing, talking like we in the Caribbean, talk, all our main business, and somebody sabotages will go to nothing. If Venezuela did, and Iran talk too, they talk too much with all the brain power and the wealth. When you don't have something, don't say you say it. When somebody say you have something and you know you have it or you don't have it, say nothing until you're in the position, well, I have it. And if Iran did that, America would not, and Israel would not have been doing them what they do them now, right? They would respect them. The same thing to Venezuela. Venezuela hushed them out. And with the wealth they have, they did what they were supposed to do and become a world power. Eventually, that wouldn't happen. So we in the Caribbean have to take some lessons from that, because we talk. We depend on the larger countries, although we have resources to get us very wealthy. We sit down there and all we do is stretch our hand for something. I know we're talking reparation.
Yeah.
We have to learn to, we are all interdependent, but be more independent of ourselves. Find our way. We are what you call, we in theory, right? We have all of the knowledge to do a lot of things practically, but we stay there with the theory and continue to beg. Practicalize your theory, and then out of this mess that we are in here with Venezuela and America and Russia and China, we should be able to hold our own in a better way. So this is a lesson for us. If we can't learn now, and very little time to adjust now,
we will learn again.
We could be a lot of trouble.
Thank you, Color.
Have a great day.
Yes, I believe that the CARICOM countries should be one of the most powerful negotiators in the world. And they are really disappointed in CARICOM leaders because that scenario with Donald Trump, since Donald Trump came to power the first time, I was advocating that was a good opportunity for Africa and the Caribbean to negotiate with Donald Trump. Because I saw some more hostility between the American leader and Europe. And most of the atrocities or the colonization that took place in the world was Europe and the Caribbean and Africa, not America. Yes, scholar, welcome.
I am the voice of one crying out in the wilderness.
You have the right place to cry.
How are you, Senior?
Great, man.
Senior, very much concerned as it regard what is happening on our doorstep, Venezuela. I don't want us in Grenada to be distracted too much because what happening in Venezuela, we in Grenada don't have an inch of power to fix that. And not only in Grenada, but all the CARICOM leaders, they are very quiet. They don't say nothing. They are afraid to come out. With all the love they had loved Venezuela and all the help CARICOM state got from Venezuela, how many are the leaders hitting the street with placard against America? You don't find the CARICOM leaders
Peter David might do this street. Peter David might do that.
Yeah, I find they too quiet. Is it a form of hypocrisy? Let us not try to be distracted of what is happening in Venezuela. According to you, Mr. Pierre, Sayeye, YBB, we in Grenada must not be distracted. We have our own mess to clean. Presently, right now, Grenada is in trouble. Grenada right now is on a standstill. We have a leader that does not know how to reverse, neither to go forward. We have a where our people are suffering, in particular our poor people. And while our poor people are suffering, we have a high level of corruption, KG, in Grenada. As it is presently right now, there are a lot of people that cannot make two ends meet. We have a prime minister that tried something and he got through and he become the prime minister of Grenada. The guy does not know when to go up. He does not know when to go down. Let us focus on what is happening in our country. Let us focus on the state of road and the state of our roads in Grenada, KJ. Let us focus on that. And $50 had been in. There is an increase of $50 on the license. 50. Look at the condition of our roads. Let us not be distracted. We are in sympathy with Venezuela, but please, Grenadian, let us focus on Grenada. How are we going to clean that mess that we are in? I rest my case.
Yes, scholar, thank you. Do we have an next caller on the line? No, I always say that when the NDC government came in power in 2022, June of 2022, the 23rd, it was not necessary for them to contribute to the increasing cost of living. We had this war in Ukraine, and a lot of people was expecting the worst. So already there was a challenge with the cost of living. The government did three fundamental things that caused the cost of living to increase. They increased the price of sugar. When you increase the price of sugar, you increase the price of everything associated with sugar. The confectionery industry, particularly manned by locals. Yes, caller, welcome.
Mr. Pierre?
Yes, my brother, welcome.
Good afternoon.
And you are the last caller for the day.
Okay,
so
yes,
punch.
Thanks. We speaking about Casalvin, Mr. Pierre. We have to pay the teachers, Mr. Pierre. We have to pay the policemen, Mr. Pierre. We have to pay all sort of things. And you talk about Casalvin, we must pay them, otherwise the country will want to go still. We have people who spend 12 years in this country. They don't fix the road. They don't do nothing to the road. And today they complain about the road. After 10 years, they don't fix the road, they don't do nothing. But today they complain about the road. What kind of hypocrite people is that? Can you imagine all this time you sit there, you don't fix the road, and today, 2 years after, going and call about the road? What kind of incompetent people? Mr. Pierre, I listen to the news, and I believe we're making a mistake to support the Americans. The Americans don't care about the land. They see us as black fools. They say that already. The same person are you supporting there. We call we country a shithole country. I don't know how we could support Donald Trump. How Kit Peter and the lady could support Donald Trump. You see Kit Peter and the opposition leader, they come like them chief in Africa. They hold the people, they keep it, the people, the slave master them, they pay them to hold the people in slavery. So when they're ready, they will take them. Them is Kit Peter and the opposition, them is whole slave. They will stand up there and see us go in jail, catch hell, once the Americans support them. They give them millions of dollars to campaign. When they come in power, well, America do not what they want. They might take us and make slaves in this country. They said already, they go deal with them black people in the Caribbean down here. That means Trinidad, Barbados, and those countries. They go deal with them maybe in the next 20 years. All of us is slavery.
I thank you very much. We're the last caller for the day. And I always felt it was not necessary to raise the price of sugar, water, and electricity. I don't think the government sat down and thought it out well because of the very environment then. And they raised them together. So you create almost a compulsion, a shock on the cost of living. Then the government raised the salary, the income by over 300%. When you do that, automatically you put the trade union in a whole different mood. The money the government paid to the teachers, the court say you didn't have to pay. The government said they paid for good relationship. So that is bribery. The government fired about 3,000 people, lost their job. A lot of them have been re-employed in security and others. It was not necessary. It was not economically necessary because the government met an economy that was doing well. You had over $500 and something million in the treasury. You got 100 million from Saudi Arabia. You got 118 million from the hurricane insurance, burial insurance. You said you claim that you sold 1 billion in passport. You claim that the Inland Revenue, the Treasury, the Ministry of Finance was bringing in more money than was projected. So it was not necessary to shock the economy. You fired 31 workers from Granba Estate because it was perceived that these people were green. You found out that 19 of these workers was NDC supporters. Over a year passed before you re-employ 20. The statement, the utterances that the government made helped to contract the economy. You call people classless, commoners, beggy. you start creating division. There was no call by the government to increase productivity and for unity. We are a small economy. Ask any economist. Confidence could cause you in economy to contract. I doesn't speak about the road. Grenada have one of the best network of roads in the region. You hear me say umpteen time. Electricity, telephone, water, and internet is second to none, comparable with the best and better than most. So Grenada was well poised for takeoff or to continue to carry the battle with speed. Deacon Mitchell thwarted progress. He started to tell lies. He dabbled in the occult. He created division. And he started to dismantle the economic discipline that were put in place for the continued economic growth and management and accountability of the country. He went to the Grenada Development Bank. He changed the procurement amount from 15,000 to 100,000. He opened corruption door. He spent 50 million for the 50 years independence without accountability. And Grenada have money, you know. The problem is people is holding. They're not spending money. They're apprehensive. Then the government come back and realize all these people are unemployed. They increase security by about 300%. Now, when you do that, you find so much of women in security now. That too would have some negative consequences in the future. You practically shrink the money program and you push them in security. You know, sometimes I wonder why the government is making these rudimentary mistakes. Because the Prime Minister is leading a team that is disrespectful to the elders in his own party. So he is not even benefiting from the counsel of the elders in his own party. He is not in the country with great regularity. So you don't even have time to socialize with these greenhorns he have. And I should add, greedy greenhorns. The Prime Minister established clear that he have to be a billionaire. Well, if he want to be a billionaire, and all Grenadians know he don't poor, he's a millionaire. Whereas those thousandaires want to be millionaires. And that is why the immaturity individual that have the guy in CARICOM that is very immature, beating his chest and saying, win, lose, or draw, is fixed for life. And the C-string after 2 years have over $500,000 on her account. That is corruption door that open. Deacon Mitchell is to be blamed for some of the serious challenges that we have. And we continue our discourse and our discussion another time once the clock struck 12. Thank you very much. Remember to subscribe. Thank you.
When the clock hits 12, you know where to be. Turn it up, Real FM, ride the frequency. Talking truth, talking change, talking all that's real. With Francis Pierre at the wheel. Politics to faith, the latest trend.